How's it going, everyone? Solving phone weather spawn 5000 today is November 17th, 2021, and today we're of course going to focus on our next potential major snowstorm that could impact the Northeast next week. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the GFS model as of the 06Z run for Wednesday, November 17th. And we have had quite a significant change with the GFS model from yesterday's run, where yesterday's run, it wasn't bringing much snow to the Northeast, but now it completely changed today, as now the forecast is expected to bring even more snow to the Northeast and a major snowstorm to a lot of the Northeast for next week. So if we were to take a look at how this low pressure system looks right around the 5-day mark, 114 hours from now on Monday, you see that we have this extending cold front moving through the eastern half of the United States. We have snow on the northern side, as we do see the air temperature cool enough to support precipitation in the form of snow. And we of course have this strong northwesterly flow induced by this pressure gradient between this ridge located right around the Midwest, as well as this low pressure system that's expected to pretty much develop our next major snowstorm in the Northeast if it were to come for fruition, which is still uncertain at this time. So this is how it looks right now. If we were to continue to move forward, you see that as the jet stream dips further southward, there's going to be a lot of unstable air, which means that the storm will rapidly intensify. You see the pressure drops to 986 millibars. You should expect strong winds out of this, even if most of the northern United States will miss out on most of the snow from this initial low pressure system, since the snow is further up northward. However, the concern becomes after this low pressure system moves further northward, where we could see another low pressure system form just off the east coast for another major snowstorm to form, or another chance of a major snowstorm to occur in the Northeast. So if we were to continue to move forward, you see that there's high instability right around the eastern half of the United States, induced by the strong northwesterly flow that's bringing that cooler air further southward, and it's interacting with the very warm air that's centered towards the eastern half of the United States. And you see that eventually the GFS model is expecting this jet stream dip to dip far south enough to interact with the warm air temperatures over the Gulf Stream, and that should develop our next low pressure system as a result of how much lift there is in this air mass, where the unstable air is very high, and there's just a lot of convection occurring right around this region and a lot of lift in the atmosphere for another low pressure system to form. If we were to continue to move beyond that, you see that the instability becomes so strong, where we begin to see a well-defined negative tilt in the jet stream, where we begin to see the jet stream tilt further to steer the winds further northwestward. And this is concerning for three things, because for one thing is, when we see a negative tilt like this, that means the instability is even higher than if it were just a regular jet stream dip. Since during a negative tilt, we see the warm air filter in on the northern side of the low pressure system and cool air on the southern side. They're pretty much, the cooler air mass and the warmer air mass are pretty much gonna play cat and mouse, where they're gonna pretty much try to chase each other, where the cold air mass will obviously want to filter in to the warm air mass, and as it does so, it just creates a lot more lift at a much faster speed than if it were just a regular jet stream dip, for this storm to develop very rapidly and become extremely powerful as a result of a negative tilt. And another thing is that when we see a negative tilt, it's more likely to steer the storm further westward, and as a result closer to land, so you would experience more impacts if there were a negative tilt out of this low pressure system. And another thing is that when there's a negative tilt, a low pressure system tends to move a lot slowly, because instead of a low pressure system moving west to east like all low pressure systems should along the jet stream, since the jet stream tilts to a point where it pretty much alters the jet stream's wind direction from westerly to easterly direction to more of a westerly to easterly direction. That pretty much not only steers the low pressure system closer to the coast, but it takes a lot longer to get rid of it because, of course, the jet stream winds are trying to steer it this direction for a good while, and it takes a while before the jet stream straightens out and this moves eastward as it should. So if there were a negative tilt, this would be quite a major storm for you guys, especially if it's very close to the northeast states. And you see that right now, the GFS model has altered its forecast, bringing a negatively tilting jet stream to the northeast, which means that this storm will linger around. This storm will be very powerful, down with the millibar pressure down to the 980s. And we're seeing heavy snow and very strong winds out of this low pressure system. As you can see, we're seeing just very heavy snow throughout the northeast, especially the interior northeast and New England as well. So this is definitely something we need to keep in mind. The exact location is still very uncertain because, again, I'm going still around 7 days out at this point. So there's still a lot of time to iron out the forecast, see where exactly you could get the heaviest snowfall. But as of right now, it seems like the GFS model wants to take a major snowstorm and a major nor'easter for a lot of the northeast, especially New England, as well as upstate New York, where you guys are experiencing the heaviest of snow. And if this were to come for fruition, you guys could experience close to or well over a foot of snow in some areas, which would be major. And even if you don't experience snow from this necessarily, you still have the threat of strong winds. You still have the threat of coastal flooding and heavy rain in some areas, depending on the location of this low pressure system. So even if you don't necessarily receive snow from this, you could still experience major impacts if the GFS model were correct. So it is definitely something that's a major shift in the forecast. Now we could say it is slightly more likely we will see a snowstorm in the northeast or some sort of nor'easter in the northeast. Still uncertain. I will say that, still highly uncertain, but we maybe could rise the chances just a little bit for a potential snowstorm or major nor'easter to occur early next week, right around just after Thanksgiving week or just before Thanksgiving weekend. So you guys need to pay close attention to this throughout the northeast over the next couple days, because this could be major, especially for your Thanksgiving travel, which is the time where most Americans travel. So you need to pay close attention to this throughout the northeast. Now, in terms of the European model, what's interesting is that the European model was leaning more towards GFS's model's current run for most of it for the past several days, but now it seems like the European is now going the opposite direction of the GFS model when it comes to a forecast, as now they pretty much switch positions or switch sides in terms of bringing a snowstorm to the northeast, while the European and the GFS model both agree that there's going to be a pretty significant trough moving through a cold front that's going to bring very significant jet stream dip throughout the eastern half of the United States. Now, interestingly, the European model doesn't really want to bring a major snowstorm to the northeast, while it does bring quite a strong low pressure system just off the east coast as well. The jet stream dip. The thing is that the European model now is not leaning towards a negative tilt forming out of this jet stream dip, which means that this low pressure system that forms along this cold front will primarily just stay out to sea rather than move further westward and meander around the northeast for longer. So as a result, if the European computer model's case were correct, you shouldn't experience that much snow out of this, as it should mainly just move straight to the northwest, to the north, without really tilting towards the west, and it just mainly brings heavy rainfall to Maine and maybe strong winds, especially towards New England, but that's about it. Not a significant snowstorm for you guys, but so yeah, there's still a lot of uncertainty regarding if a snowstorm will even occur in the northeast or not, especially since both the major computer models are still disagreeing in bringing a snowstorm or not into the northeast, as the GFS model wants to bring a major snowstorm, while the European model wants to mainly take this low pressure system off the coast, not bringing much in the form of any snowfall throughout the Northeast. So there's still a lot of uncertainty with this, but what I can tell you is that by early next week, there will be I will say there will be a pronounced jet stream dip moving through the eastern half of the United States. I think that's becoming increasingly likely at this point, especially since the European model and the GFS model are definitely agreeing with regarding where exactly they bring this jet stream dip. So that's definitely something we need to keep in mind. But the question remains is, will there be a major snowstorm after this jet stream dip? It really all depends on where that negative tilt lies and how strong the low pressure system is, of course, and how much cold air there will be for snow to occur in the Northeast. There's still a lot of questions that remain with the storm, but I'll keep you guys updated as we get more updates with this storm. But as of right now, just expect a major jet stream dip and potentially a nor'easter off the coast of the Northeast. Exact impacts are very hard to identify at this point, forecasting right around 6-7 days out, but I can at least say it's becoming increasingly likely we will see a major jet stream dip by early next week, but just before Thanksgiving weekend, and we could see a nor'easter just off the Northeast coast, so make sure to keep that in mind. Now taking a look at my forecast regarding where exactly you could experience the most snowfall. And pretty much the chance where you're in the dark blue, I'm not necessarily expecting a major snowstorm for you guys just yet. I'm just saying that if a snowstorm were to occur, it'll most likely occur right around the darker blue areas, while the lighter blue has less of a chance, but still a marginal chance. So, but there's still, again, that possibility you might not experience any snow from this anywhere in the Northeast, especially with the Europeans model's latest run. But the GFS model in recent history has been a little better with forecasting long-term forecasts, so we might need to lean a little bit more to GFS bringing major snowstorms in the Northeast. But again, we can't completely disregard the European model, since the European model is also very reliable when it comes to events like this. So we certainly need to pay close attention over the next several days to see what will occur by early next week. Now taking a look at the Arctic oscillation, again, we're expected to go to the negative phase. So it seems like we're more likely than not going to experience a major jet stream dip and a lot of cold air throughout the Northeast into next week, as this will pretty much coincide with potentially major snowstorm throughout the Northeast. So we need to certainly keep that in mind as well. But yeah, guys, I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure if you like this video, make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. And I hope you guys have a good day.